Okay, so the next project I'm going to talk about is the one I did for a jewelry company. They're a business that have been around for about, I think, 20 plus years or something like that. It's a family-owned business. And I met them through another project that I was doing, and I was able to pitch them something that I wanted to make. I talked to their marketing guy and kind of explained what I do and what I was interested in, and then I kind of brainstormed ideas with him. And then I got the go-ahead to go and make it, and I think this was a $5,000 project, so I had budget to pay actors for once, which was really nice. A lot of the time I'll use the employees of the business as the actors. It's a fun way for customers who come in to be able to relate with the staff in a way that they wouldn't otherwise. Also, a lot of non-actors are really good, or you can find really good ways of shooting around them. The piece of passion that I was interested in this was twofold. One, I really wanted to do something about marriage and relationships. Getting married is not about the magical ecstasy of happily ever after, but it's about saying yes to the commitment of an ebb and flow of good and bad days, and that you do it together as a unit. From there, we started thinking about what are the ways of incorporating the business into this idea. So what is the ring that we're having her wear, and what is the ring we're having him wear? What are the shots are we designing this around? My first idea was I thought that the whole thing was going to take place from the POV of just hands and feet for the entire story. I thought that was kind of interesting. Turns out that doesn't really work for a story. You kind of have to see people and their faces and know what's going on in their emotions and their eyes in order to tell. I try and design every single idea based off of it having fallbacks, essentially. So if you're going to make a short film, then make sure that it's going to work. If your short film isn't going to work, at least make sure that you have an advertisement that can come out of it that you know is going to work. And this one, I wrote the script specifically with that in mind, so I knew I had a good little advertisement no matter what. And honestly, I'm happier and more proud of the advertisement that came out of this. It works a lot better than the actual film does. There's a couple of things about the film that I feel like don't really sell, but I'm proud of both of them nonetheless. The other piece of passion that I was really interested for this project was being able to use a lot of my vintage lenses. For about $200 at the thrift store, you can end up with like 10, 15 different lenses. And of those 10, 15, there's usually one or two in there that you really, really fall in love with. And so I found that that's a really good way of finding glass that I really like for my camera. And there were two particular lenses that I know and I love the character on them. And I really wanted to do a project that kind of highlighted that. So I picked two of my vintage lenses and I wanted to film everything on those. I knew my cinematography was going to be kick-ass. So with this project, we were about halfway through production when I followed up with the company and let them know where I was at with the edit and how it was all coming together. And I got an email back saying that the marketing guy who had brought me onto the project had been fired. And so I hop on the phone with both the owners and they kind of explained the situation to me, and they hadn't heard about the project at all. They knew we were doing one, but they didn't know what it was. And so then I was left in this weird position of having to pitch the project a second time after having already had made it. They let me finish the project and they finished paying me for it. But then I showed them the project and they didn't really understand what it was, what to do with it. And this is a big thing that I harp on people all the time, which is if you're gonna pay for a film, understand that it's only as useful as you make it. But you win some, you lose some. Also, I had built into the entire project the idea that I was going to submit it to film festivals. So I did do a little bit of this. I took some low-level ones, some high-level ones, and some just local ones. And of all the film festivals I submitted to, I think we got in two, and I think we're still waiting on one. Even though it hasn't done much for their company now, I think it's gonna have a long, slower burn, and I just have to put in the effort to be able to make them realize what the tool is that they have, especially the 60-second ad that I made for them, because that's really easy to run a campaign on. It's really easy to get people in the door. Also, it turned out really, really good. Another thing that I've noticed and that I find is really important and should just be a duh is post it everywhere. Make sure it's on all the different platforms. Make it easy for people to find, because not everyone uses everything. Once you start getting an idea of who's responding to the thing that you made, are there different places that you can put it to where those people get to watch it? There's a lot of really unique, creative ways of getting stuff out there that I just think people don't really think about. We'll probably spend a lot of time talking about different avenues of getting your films out there, because that is one thing that I feel very inexperienced on is distribution. I'm always looking for good people who have information and insight into distribution, because that seems like one of the harder things to be able to learn about. This project is still doing the festival circuit, so I can't show it to you yet, but as soon as it is, I will upload it and you will get a chance to see it.